reason why a lot of men feel a certain type of way that Russell ended up, selecting Sierra when he could have had any woman. It goes a little bit deeper than that because it sets a precedent in a lot of other men's mind to think that this is the move to make. And I'll give you an example of that. Zion Williamson right now is going through the same bullshit, entertaining. I don't understand what these dudes. Why you gotta go get a porn star? Why you gotta go
So
get an
we saying
OnlyFans
Sierra's
star?
a porn
Why
star?
I am saying that a lot of there has been a precedent set that it is okay to go down when you have reached this level of success or this pinnacle of your career in life to deal with somebody that is way below your social economic threshold, your
Thank you.
intelligent economic threshold, and your image threshold, right? And sort of that is the that we're trying to raise the level of excellence, and we don't want men to choose less because we then create this idea like I want to wrestle too. What those women were saying essentially when a lot of them said that when Russell Wilson came out dating Sierra, and a lot of women were championing it, is that I want a Russell Wilson too. But in reality, is you want a Russell Wilson now because you've already made a couple bad choices. A Russell Wilson was already in your DMs way before the actual Russell Wilson was seen with Sierra. And sort of now it's this like absent mind of like, okay, now I want to kind of turn the tide of the ship now that things are going in the other way. I think it's all about setting the precedent for the image of what excellence looks like and what men should strive for.
So let me ask you a question. So are you
That
saying
bar.
that so are you do you think that this community has more Russell Simmons as far as the intellect goes?
Russell Simmons.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Williams.
Wilson.
Wilson.
Well,
And Luis, by the way, before you reply, I agree with about
I,
90% of what you said. Good point.
this is twofold. Okay. Because Bezos is married to a single mom, a mother. His wife has kids. Bill Gates' girlfriend are we better than them? And I get what you're saying. But what ends up happening is we are so I know you're saying we want black excellence, okay? And you're saying men who are like Russell Williams, who is like the poster child, shouldn't date these other people.
Wilson.
Wilson, the poster child,
thank you,
shouldn't
AP.
date
Thank
these
you.
other
Good thing.
people. But do you think to make that mark? Do you think a lot of people, taking away him being an NFL player, a lot of people are Russell Wilsons, the men?
So I want to answer this, right? Because this selective perspective of Russell Wilson, I think, is really interesting. Before I say that, though, I know Shannon mistaken y'all are teachers, and for all of the decorum, chaotic screams about, he's definitely acting like an ill-behaved child in class tonight. But past that point, I think it's interesting that we give Russell Wilson so much flack for choosing a baby mama, right? However, he is one of the only black celebrities that has left a white woman to be and build a family with a black woman. Instead of celebrating that, we sit here and say, oh no, she made a mistake, therefore she's never going to be redeemable. Like, is that the message that we're choosing to acknowledge in this world, that if somebody makes a mistake and they no longer want to live in that mistake, that's it, you are doomed to sit in that mistake for the rest of your life? Or are we asking people to be better so that they can do better? Like,
I mean,
I
what
get
was
that. Hey, 1 second. So I get that,
yeah.
like, we're not trying to promote this idea of women who continuously engage in bad behavior to just expect that somebody's going to come and clean up their mess behind them, right? I understand that. However, when we're looking at somebody who is in the entertainment industry, who there is that expectation that she show her body and conduct herself a certain way in order to make money, right? He understood that and still chose her. And unlike Keke Palmer's baby daddy, has not actually spoken out about it, has decided to okay himself in that behavior, like we're really going to shame him for building a black family, repairing a black family for a woman who has not cheated on him, who has not actually done wrong by him, except by societal standards. He has never come out and said that he has an issue with the way that she's moving. So instead of respecting his decision and the fact that he is doing right by somebody who has chosen to do better with her life, we're saying he's wrong for it. And all of you other women that have made this mistake, you are no longer allowed to do better in life and have to just sit in your consequences for the rest of your life.
Ladies, there's a Russell Wilson right now in your DMs. Whether it's on
800 of them.
YouTube, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on IG, Facebook, whatever social platform there is, I promise you, ladies, there is a Russell Wilson like type of character in your DMs. He might not throw a football, but he's sure probably excellent in some other area. Maybe he's a board director or whatever the case is. I promise you, there is a Russell Wilson in your DMs. But the reason why you do not open that DM and it stays within the request folder is because he does not sexually intrigue you at all. So let's be very clear what we're talking about. We're talking about a seasoned woman who has gone through trials and tribulations and has now realized, like, damn, I fucked up. I probably should have did this. You know what I'm saying? But she won't come out and say that and tell women that same exact story. So we just let the aura and the perception kind of live.
Can I just say something that Lewis, you had spoke on before this comment that you made, but you had said something about like the behavior being associated with like lower class or something like that. Just
I
listen,
don't want to jump.
Chan.
You're
I
not
know what you're
jumping.
saying. I
Okay.
know it has not.
Okay.
Just let me say this. So my point with what you just said is if you consider that behavior to be lower class, right? If we associate that type of behavior, showing your booty cheeks and all of that, to be a lower class, then would we not expect Beyonce to not be showing her booty cheeks if she's supposed to be of the upper echelon? So for me, what I'm saying is you cannot change, like if you're saying that the behavior itself, in and of itself, in your in a relationship, that you should not be showing your booty cheeks. Some of y'all even said that you just shouldn't, as a woman, you just shouldn't be doing that at all across the board.
Well, when I was
But
making, but
but you said something about
no, no, no.
class,
When
and
I
so
said that, when I made that comparison, talking about educational threshold, socioeconomic in class, I was referring to Zion Williams specifically. I wasn't speaking to the Kiki Palmer situation.
okay,
Again,
I'm
when
sorry,
I
I don't
said
know who Zion Williams is.
he's the like third year basketball player in the league, plays for the
Okay.
Pelicans. I was referring to his behavior of someone who is a rare, talented specimen, allow himself to align with people who are not heading in the direction that he is going, who are not that type of people that you either want to take serious, marry, or any of that stuff. That was more of what I was speaking about. You know what I'm saying? And the whole Brittany Renner situation is another classic example because that's another example that we could lean into where their family should have like blocked that. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? If we're trying to produce the next high caliber of men and set a good precedent for other men to follow, then we have to gatekeep certain behaviors by certain men, and they
So
have to standard.